Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this game, this preview, this beta of Mount & Blade Bannerlord 2. Now, I have to preface this saying it's just the multiplayer. This is not the single player, which is the thing that I am really excited for, but this will at least let us see how the characters look. It will show us how combat works, which is really important, and also show us a little bit of the character generation and that type of thing, and then also the multiplayer aspects. So the first thing I'm going to point out is there are two different types of multiplayer. You have the captain mode and the skirmish mode, and even though captain mode is technically enabled, I don't think it actually exists. That is the one there. You're basically in command of a small retinue, and then your retinue is NPC characters that follow you around, and that basically simulates an entire battlefield on which you're fighting. So you'll have a player who's like the cavalry, and he'll be in command of a cavalry section. You have another one which is like archers, they'll be in charge of the archer section. I will explain how all of that works in just a moment, because it's very much related to the character creation system. And then you have skirmish, which is a team-based deathmatch where it's basically 6 players versus 6 players. It's usually a very small map. It's more like a dueling system, and that is what we will be playing today. Like I said, I don't think Captain exists, but the fact that it is here and you can select it when you're doing the matchmaking, it might. Let's also switch over to Europe now. Alright, so first thing I'm going to run through are the different factions. We have 6 playable factions, and each of these have different classes. These classes are only applicable to the multiplayer, and single player you will be able to choose your own stuff. So we have the Menavlions, who have the Menavlion infantry. Looking pretty cool. They're more like the British or French soldiers. This is kind of early Middle Ages, so it's like 1066 era, so you're going to have like Norman type characters, and also late Roman, as you will notice from the Legionary, which is their heavy infantry. Now, the way that this works is the different classes have different costs, and you only have a set amount of money in the multiplayer before that to choose a class, basically. So if you go for the really expensive guys like the Cataphracts, the Paletine Guards, you will have less effective lives. If you die, then you lose all the money from that, and you'll have to choose some of the lighter characters. Or you can have a lot of lives if you play as like the Menavlion infantry, or even more the recruit. You will have a lot of lives, and you will be able to just keep on coming back. So the Legionary is very much the heavy infantry. They have 100 health, 41 armor, which compared to the regular infantry is only 7 armor, so you can really see how weighty their armor is. A movement speed of 80, and then this is their army size. So if you pick the Legionary captain, you will have 14 Legionaries following you around. But if you're the Menavlion infantry, you'll have 17 of them. So not only is your class going to be cheaper, but you're also going to have a lot more troops with you. So the recruit over here, you get 19 in your unit. The recruit actually seems to be a javelin infantry. They get javelins, and we can flip through. Oh yeah, they can use javelins, one-handed or ranged. Northern Cavalry kite shield, the Gladius. The Legionary gets the Western spear and reinforced oaken kite shield, so they can go spear and sword. Sorry, spear and shield, or sword and shield. Then the Menavlions have spear and sword. In fact, I think this is a glaive. It's a polearm. The Archer Militia, regular short bow, and a Gladius. Then the Paletine Guard. These guys are a lot of fun. I've already played as the Menavlions. They're basically heavily armoured archers, and they are quite strong. They have a good amount of armour. They have a bow, and then the Sparta. And one of the things that you will see in the multiplayer is you can basically have subclasses. They're like traits or equipment unlocks. So the Paletine Guard has a choice of a better bow. They can have a shield, or they can have... I forget what their third choice is, but every class has 3 choices. So the Paletine Guard can... Oh, it's a glaive. The third choice is a glaive. So they could start with a shield, so that makes them really quite tanky. So you have a tanky archer, which is pretty cool. Oh, sure. Let's put me down here. I already did that before, but I moved my head for like out of the way when we're actually playing the multiplayer. So yeah, sorry, for a regular game. So here are all of the items and equipment, and then the health, armor, speed, and army size. And then we have the cavalry, the courser. You can see the horse there in the background. They have a fairly light amount of armor, a shield, a spear, a sword, and then of course the horse. And then finally the Cataphract, really heavily armored, 45 armor, which is actually more than the Legionary. the spear, the sword, and it's a long sword, and then the Imperial Warhorse. Then switching over to these guys. These are... It's not actually going to tell me what they're called. Vlandians. We have the Peasant Levy, who starts with just a sickle, but they do have an army size of 20, so you will get quite a large Peasant Levy to follow you around. You have the Vulgier, who have a axe, basically. I'm trying to think of a way of explaining this. It's like a small pole axe. But the two-handers do hit pretty hard. And then the Sergeant, which is very heavily armoured, classic French, with the sword and shield. Then we switch over to the Arbalest, which isn't an Arbalest at all, seeing as he has a light crossbow and not an Arbalest. And then also a Western short sword. And then the Sharpshooter. And these guys are also pretty good. They have a great big tower shield, crossbow, a heavier crossbow this time, and then a sword. I have not played as these in the multiplayer, so I couldn't tell you if they can actually unlock a Arbalest. They might be able to. They have the Vanguard, who is their medium cavalry unit, with a shield, spear, sword, and then the Hunter Horse, which I believe are quite quick. And then the Knigget, the Knight, very, very classical Norman Knight, with the Norman Kite Shield, a spear, a heavy arming sword. Where's the sword? Oh, there it is. I do like how this is all animated. I can see it like bouncing around on the hip. And then the Charger Horse. And then over here we have... Oh, there it's the name. Britannia. Britannia have got clan warriors. So, like, if these guys were a mix between Byzantines and British, these are definitely like Britain and France. These guys would be like Ireland or Scotland. I do really like how these guys look, actually. They look really, really cool. So we've got the clan warrior, retinue size of 20 with some armor. So they pack as much of a punch as the recruits, but they're actually better equipped. The savage, who is less well equipped, but mega fast. I don't think we've actually seen anyone that moves 94 yet. And they have the Falx, which is a deadly weapon. And then the Oathbound, probably one of my favourite looking characters. A whopping massive heavy oval shield there. Fur cloak, chainmail, padded. Yeah, these guys look really good. 40 armour, which is pretty high. Good speed as well. And then the Britannian longsword. They have the Ranger with the short bow. A little bit armoured, movement speed decent. And then a Britannian short sword. The Wildling with a great big fur pauldron, a Britannian axe, javelins, and then a heavy oval shield, so they're very much skirmisher infantry as opposed to archers. And then the Fian, who are extremely heavily armoured archers. They definitely like their heavy archer class. And they've got the longbow, the only archer unit that actually has a longbow that I've seen so far, and then a two-hander. These guys are going to pack a real punch. And then the mounted warrior, which is their cavalry, easily the lightest cavalry of all of the factions so far. So these guys, I would have said, would be like the... Okay, I'm going to be using Pendor races here because I'm far more familiar with Pendor than I am with Vanilla, but they're going to be... You would think that these guys are like the Nords, but wait, until you've seen... No. Yeah, these guys. These guys are kind of the Russians and the Nords combined. So they have Sturgeon Wood Splitter axes, nice two-handed... no, actually one-handed axe. 20 retinue size, which is quite decent. The Ulfnar, which is why I say that there's Norse in here as well as Russian. Very much a classic Viking Berserker type character. Brotherhood of the Wolf. 93 movement. These guys are going to be fast. Two-handed axes. And then the Huskal. Heavily armoured, 40 armour, 16 in the retinue, which for a heavy class is actually quite a lot. Large round shield, Sturgeon heavy axe, and then the long spear. They've got brigands, which are harpoon characters, which are basically just javelins in this, I suspect. Wood splitter axe, and then the northern cavalry, kite shield, a bit of a spelling error there. And then the hunter, which seem to be just regular old archers, nothing particularly high level. Then they have cavalry. They've got the raider, who is moderately well armoured. They have the Sturgeon cavalry axe, which if it has a long handle, which this one seems to, they're going to have a longer range than most of the sword unit cavalry, which could actually be really good for them. Then of course the long spear and the trotter, and then the Drujinik, heavy, heavy cavalry, 38 armor, with a shield. Oh, Viking round shield, in fact, even though this is definitely a Russian character. Sturgian long spear, Sturgian cavalry axe, and then Tyrol horse. Then let's go back to Bataria. No, we spoke about Bataria already, didn't we? Yes, we did. Then we have got the... who are these? Kuzate, which are definitely not the... oh, crikey, what were they called? I was going to say Khajiit, but that's Elder Scrolls. There's a faction in regular Mount and Blade who sound like these guys. They have the Eastern Infantry Club, which from experience I can tell you is freaking awful. It's rubbish. But you do get a lot of them. Spear Infantry, these guys are really good all-rounders actually. They start with the throwing spear, shield, and then sword, the Ild, and then a pretty hefty shield. Good against archers, not as good against close combat characters because that shield takes a while to lift. Then they have the Step Bow Archers, which have a lot of arrows, as you can see, the double quiver, and then the Eastern Infantry Club. And then these guys, the Khan's Guard. These are very similar to the Paletine Guard. Oh no, it's these guys I've played with. I haven't played as the Palatines, I've played as the Khan's Guard. These guys are really good, and one of their options is the shield, which is very, very useful, or a glaive, or the stronger bow, which I think is a composite bow rather than the recurve. Cavalry is the Nomad, which is a very light cavalry, with the spear, sword, and horse. The Lancer, nice and heavily armoured, 30 armour, 75 movement, only 8 of them in the unit though. Decorated Eastern Shield, Eastern Lance, Cavalry, Mace, and then the Steppe Warhorse, and then finally the Mounted Archer, with the rather awesome plumed helmet. I like that. And they have the recurve bow, which is the same as the Khan's Guard, the Kilj, and the Steppe Horse. Alright, we're getting a bunch of people coming in. So, first of all, I totally forgot that we have got Tin Tuna coming in with a 10-month Twitch Prime resubscription. Ben McMahon coming in with an 8-month resubscription. Thank you very much to both of you for the subs. I very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we've got Gabik, Big Bad Bear, Virginivesakoilu. You hate to see him. Kaltasso, Miyakis, and Shinchan. Thank you very much for the follows. Great to see so many of you here checking this game out today. Hello to you all. This guy looks so much like you. Well, that might be because of the character customization, which we will dive into just a moment. Clubs and maces are better versus armor, true. But the problem with the mace is he holds it by the head when you're just walking around, so it's kind of difficult to wind up and like prepare a strike. Because you don't really know where the mace is. If we play as the rabble or anyone else that has a mace, I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. Then the final class, or the final faction here, are the Azurai, who have the tribal warrior with a decent shield, padded armor, and the Filsa sword. The guard, who have their Tabar one-handed axe. No shield though, interestingly. That must be one of the class choices. The Skirmisher, who use javelins. They have the same giant oval shield, and then the Filsa sword. The archer, who uses a hunting bow and a Filsa sword. The veteran, who is one of their heavy archers. They have the recurve bow and a Kaskara. I have a feeling that these archers are actually going to be really good. Really nice armor, but they're not going to be as slow as some of the other heavy archers. The Bedouin, who have the Jareed javelins. They have the Southern Long Spear, Scimitar, and the Maharsan horse. These guys are actually pretty well equipped for cavalry. I do like that they have javelins. Javelins and throwing weapons seem to be a fair bit better in this than they were in Warband. And then finally the Mameluke. Heavy cavalry here, coming in with the heavy Scimitar. Scimitar, I know how to pronounce it. Actually, it's a bloody long blade. Nice. The Bound Adarga, which I think are just wrist guards. Oh no, it's actually a shield. Just a very small one. Then the Bamboo Spear. And the Barb Horse. So those are the 6 different factions that you can play with. Yeah, I'm happy that there's a Bedouin faction in this. I'm actually really pleased with the extent of the different characters. We've got the Russians, the Bedouin, Arabic faction, Afghani, Turkish, British, French, and then like a Imperial Roman type thing. Oh, and then the Nords, of course. So, let's take a look at the character customization thing. And I have to say the backgrounds that just popped up there for just a second look really cool. The character customization in this is pretty damn good. I remember the regular Mountain Blade being really, really good as well. I'm kind of reluctant to change this too much, because it took me a while to come up with this, but screw it, we're going to do it. So you can play it. In fact, let's just do the randomize all. And there will be random shouts every now and then. I do apologise for that.
Dismount! Follow me! Retreat!
See a lot of the different character...
Light formation! Charge!
No.
Retreat! Extend formation! Light formation! Move!
So let's start with him as a starting point. We can go over to the face. Let's just... Whoops, didn't really need to randomise all. There we are. Let's just do the face. I quite like the randomise system. I never use randomise, but the different characters that you can use with the randomise are really good. I have to say, they're really, really good. Then you can play with all of the different face bits. Then you can change the eyes. Let's also randomise those. Show you something cool. There we are. Those are cool. And then we have a nose. We have a broken nose or a not broken nose. Let's go with the not broken nose because we haven't lost a fight. We never lose a fight. And then a mouth. There we are, that'll do. And then, where's the beard? Aha! Hair! This is the most important bit. First of all, we're going to have a more Viking-looking character. Then you can go bald, hair, long hair, straighty hair, scuffer, messed up hair, hair with weird dreadlock type things. Lots of different haircuts which really make you look like you're from different societies, and then all the beards as well. So we're going to go with the long hair. And then we'll have a quick look through the beards. It's a bit hard to see. There we go. Let's just do that so we can see them a bit easier. Of course, I spend the longest time on the beard part of the character creation. It's important! Huzzah! Literary artist, thank you very much for the resubscription. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. And Shinchan Daklop, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. So I think I was running with that one, although that one also doesn't look too bad. I'm actually wondering if the scruffy hair is the way that I want to look. Scruffy hair on the previous character model worked really well. Not convinced here. Looks a bit weird. Let's just keep on... What is this? It's going to be the face, isn't it? Let's just randomise the face a bit more. Maybe it's too tanned? Change the hair colour again. There we go, that looks a bit better. Oh, and then we can also change the height and the voice. Let's make him slightly taller, although I suspect being short gives you a smaller hitbox.
Form a line!
Yeah, that'll do. And there we go, that is the character creation. I decided I didn't like that hair, didn't I? And the other options. It's got to be long hair. I'm disappointed by the amount of long hair, actually. Most of these are far too short. And why is that one black hair? It doesn't conform to the colour selection. Frazzled. Looks more like a Celt than a Viking. Oh, there's a ponytail. There we are, that'll do. Marvellous. So that is the character for Mordred. Yeah, the graphics have really come a long way. They've really, really... quite a lot better in this. Okay, so next up, let's hit the matchmaking and actually, you know, play. I think that's what you guys are here to see. I'm just going to hit play. 3 in the queue at the moment. It seems to be like a minimum of about 6 to do a game, so that's going to be 3 on each side. Remember, this is team deathmatch, and it will just throw us into a random game with a random faction, and then we can choose the classes and everything from there. So, do you guys have any questions about anything like this? I must admit, I have not been reading every single one of their development diaries, but I am pretty au fait when it comes to regular Mountain Blade, and I might have an idea of what's going on. There is a server selection option, yeah, that's true. We'll see how this works, and then we'll go and do that. From what I noticed, there aren't actually 1 million people playing this at the moment. Could definitely do with a bit of a bigger player base. And yes, I should definitely mention that this key is thanks to Charles, who got me a key when he was at Gamescom, where they were handing them out apparently. So thank you very, very much to Charles for actually getting me to play this. See you, Zale. Beta keys will be distributed when Taleworlds gets back from Gamescom. Yeah, I suspected that. 5 players. I think we need 1 more, then we can actually start one. And all of the custom servers are just Skirmish. Ah, here we go! Another of the awesome backgrounds. They've done a great work with the artwork here. I mean, the backgrounds in Warband were really good as well, but here they're good. I like them. Wonder if they'll allow as much mod support. The old game, Prophecy of Pendor mod for this would be sick. Yes, yes it would. Yes, I believe so. And in fact, there is already a tab for mods, even in the beta. So here we go. We have got Quentin der Overzemolk, Ivan, and then me on our team, and then just 2 people on the other team. So this isn't actually me playing. Here we go. Now we are... Oh, we're playing as the Nords! Huzzah! Let's play as the Ulfanar initially. We're going to choose Improved Armor, 2-handed Long Axe. I think we're going to go with that. And that looks good to me. So this is just the waiting phase. So this guy's a bad guy. And I will warn you, I will probably die a lot. I am not the best at this game. Same team, dude. Same team. Unlike him. Ow! Ow! Block that. I found I'm not very good at blocking. That's definitely something I need to work on. Come here. There we are. Dude, same team. This guy is actually really nippy. Bam! Wakey wakey! How do you crouch like that? Haven't worked that one out yet. Done jumping. Hello, bad guys. Those are all same team. Let's go down here. I actually really like this guy already. I've kind of struggled to find my character, but seeing how much I use 2-handed weapons in my Menheim style series on YouTube, hint, go to my YouTube, you can find that at youtube.com/Mordred Viking for a great playthrough of Warband. No, Prophecy of Pendor, it's not Warband. It's the mod. And in that, I basically play without using Cavalry, so you would think I'd be a lot better at, like, just dueling than I am now. But that was, like, a year ago. It's literally the only weapon I have. Ha! Broke his shield. Same team. Come here, you wretch. Oh, he's ours. Definitely liking this guy a lot more than previous ones. 2-handed weapons are a lot better. Like the faction I was playing previously, they had no 2-handed weapons. Distraction is an important weapon. That should also be mentioned. Oh, he actually hit me. No way. I was on the wrong side. Alright, let's go and choose an archer. Because the bows in this make the most awesome sound when you actually hit something. Of course, you actually have to hit something. Like that. It's just so satisfying. Let's steal the horse. Yeah, I can. Horse archers! Guessing this character doesn't have a lot of horse archer skill. Alright, so I'm going to play as the Ulfeldar because crikey that was strong. And we're going to go with the two-handed long axe. Or we could go for just the improved armour for a little bit more survivability. Now we're going to go with the two-handed long axe. Yes, you can fire while moving, but if you do that, then the aiming reticle is a lot smaller. Right, where are the flags? This is a capture the flag game, so you'll see there in the top you've got the little symbols, then ABC. Those are the different flags that we need to go. So we're currently heading towards the C flag. There's 3 on each team. There's one flag in there, there's one flag up the top, and then there's one over here, kind of out in the open. And this one is bad if you don't have a shield, because they do tend to like to shoot at you. Oh, there's a bad guy. Hello, bad guy. I'm capturing your position right now. Flag C has been caught by my team. Hey, that was me. Damn. He hits faster than I do. Straight over his head. Woof. Huzzah! And the Ulfreda are actually pretty cheap. They're only 120. I've only got 180 left. So this is basically my last life. Let's go to one of the other flags, like this one up here. Hi. We do actually need to capture these, you know. Oh, we already have. B's been taken by an enemy, so B is down here. Oops. Where's this bloody flag? Could have sworn it was in here. Was that it there? Oh, no, they've already removed A and B, so it's only C that can score. So we need to go and take control of it. Two archers, two Ulfeldar. Yep, same team, dude, same team. We are currently capturing position C. Waiting for the bad guys to appear. There they are. No! No way!